Hello, hello, hello. And obviously, this week we have a Christmas themed Wednesday English live stream where we're going to help you improve your English, speaking about Christmas customs and traditions. If this is your first time watching, hi, my name's Craig from mansioningles.com. And there you can study English for free with courses, materials. We have a newsletter twice a month that's very useful at different levels. And we also have a podcast. And I also have a conversation course. If you'd like to improve your fluency, go over to englishmasterclass.net and have a look there for more information about my speaking course. And with me over there, I'd like to welcome Lynne from putitlikethis.com, who's joining me. Hi, Lynne.
Hello, Craig. Hi. Hello, everybody, and happy Christmas. And you're looking very Christmassy, and I wanted to surprise people with my reindeer bells, you see. Can you hear those? Can you
I
hear them
can.
well? Oh, good.
I can.
Right.
Yeah.
So I make a noise. You just look Christmassy, and I make a noise.
I just look silly in this hat, but you've got to try. You've got
We
to do
do.
something to get into the Christmas spirit. And this hat is the only thing I do. So there are
Oh,
no
okay.
decorations. There's no Christmas tree.
Mm,
I don't have kids, so it's for
uh-huh.
me, it's not a big celebration. But I did make the effort to put the hat
Uh-huh.
on.
Well,
So
next year,
Merry
actually, I
Christmas.
should do this. I should do this in my living room next to my Christmas tree. I'll do that next year. I've never managed it yet. So anyway, I didn't say who I was. Thank you. I'm Lynne, and I'm from putitlikethis.com. I'm an online teacher, and I specialize in doing tailor-made courses for people to help them achieve their objectives in English. So maybe if you want to do an exam, or maybe you're a teacher and you want to improve your language skills in order to give classes in English, or maybe you work in business and you want to improve your business English, then if you go to putitlikethis.com, you can find out more. And that's also where you can contact me. Okay.
Fantastic. And as I
Mhm.
mentioned right at the beginning, and if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching. We're going to be talking about Christmas customs because at the time of recording, it's Christmas week. Christmas is a couple of days away, and we're in the Christmas mood. So we're going to talk about Christmas customs. We would like to hear what you do where you are in your country, and we'll also share some things about our Christmas and the Christmases we've had in the past. Is there anybody watching? Anyone coming in to say hello? I know it's near
Yeah, I
Christmas,
can.
but
Yeah, and we
is
started a
anybody
little bit
around?
late, I hope.
That was
We
my
did we
fault. Yeah.
No, that was a Christmas glitch that we have. Uh-huh. I don't think anybody's come in logged on yet, have they? Can you
Well,
say hello to us if you've logged on? Can you
there are
see?
eight people watching at the moment. We've just started. Say hi if you are watching. Where are
Yeah,
you
can you
from?
send us a comment just to
Say
check
hello.
everything's working?
Make
Because
sure
it's
you can
unusual,
hear
isn't
us.
it?
It is
Mhm,
unusual. Yeah.
mhm.
We're going to talk about Christmas customs and
Now, they're coming through. Hi, Augustine. Hi.
hi, Augustine. The
Okay.
first question we'd like to ask you as you're joining is, do you celebrate Christmas? Because not everybody does. And
Mhm.
how do you celebrate it? So while we're waiting for people to come and join us, Lynne, tell us about your family and your Christmas. Do you celebrate Christmas? And if you do,
Mm.
what do you do as a family?
Well, if I'm afraid I'm going to be repeating myself. If anybody comes into the class today who watched last year and the year before, because they'll know that I celebrate Christmas quite a lot, and I have my own family, but I love celebrating it as well with my husband's family, and we have children, so we celebrate it all together. And I actually love living in Spain because in Spain, Christmas goes on forever. Because if anybody is watching and you're not in Spain at the moment, in Christmas in England, we just celebrate basically Christmas Day, and we celebrate New Year's Eve, really. Those 2 days are the big days for celebrations in England. But here in Spain, people celebrate Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, And then in the third week, we celebrate the arrival of the three kings. So
Yeah.
Christmas for us goes on for 3 weeks, and I love it. I love the food. I love the excitement. I love the decorations. I'm a real Christmas fan. Mhm.
What about you, Augustine? Do you celebrate Christmas? And if you do, what do you do? What are your traditions and which country are you in? And
Mm.
Johanna, what about you?
I think Johanna
What are
says
your
she doesn't
customs?
celebrate.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
she doesn't
Maybe you
celebrate.
can tell us why, Johanna, why you don't celebrate. What about you, Craig? Do you celebrate?
I used to when I was young. When I was a child,
Hmm.
yes, we had a Christmas tree, we had presents. Christmas Eve, we got together as a family, and Christmas morning, there was always a present on my bed. And then when I got older, I realized it was to keep me quiet so my parents could sleep later while I was playing with my toy, my one toy. And then downstairs, there were more presents. So, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think when you've got children, when you're a family, it's a lovely custom to have
Hmm.
to give presents and around the food and the tree and decorations. But my family, they were never religious, and as I grew older, the tradition kind of disappeared. So I haven't
Hmm.
celebrated Christmas for a long, long time. But I do like the time of year. I like the atmosphere in the streets. I like
Hmm.
going out at Christmas time. People are generally in a good mood. So it's a happy time of year. I do like
And
the feeling.
do you have a special meal, Craig, or not? Or do you not celebrate it at all with like a
Nope.
special meal on the day? Nothing. Everything is just like a normal day for you, is it?
Yes, I'll probably be working, and
Really? Oh,
yeah,
wow. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Is that did you find that sad?
No, I don't find it sad, but for me, I couldn't do that at all. I mean, for me, I think I plan all year. I don't plan all year ahead for Christmas, but for me, the Christmas holiday is a break in my working routine. So I tend to work like when I work, I tend to work in blocks, you know. So and my blocks are around the school year in Spain. So I always think of like starting work in September up to Christmas. And then usually as Christmas arrives, I'm ready for a rest from
Yeah.
teaching. And then I have a rest and then I start again after the Three Kings. So on my last day of work is tomorrow. And then I start again on the 9th of January. And then I have that period which goes up to Easter. And then I have like a long weekend, maybe around Easter time. And
Mhm.
then from Easter to July, and then in August I have holidays. So for me, Christmas is a sort of, it's a cut in the working rhythm. So I can't imagine. I mean, I do a little bit of work, but I don't do very much work. I try to make everything clear, so I do nothing.
I do really enjoy this time of year, but it's not for Christmas. It's just that it's a time when I don't have to work. I don't
Hmm.
have to work. I don't have commitments and classes and students because everybody's celebrating Christmas. But I do
Hmm.
use it as a break and a time for reflection, looking back
Hmm.
over the year and planning, looking ahead to the new year so that as soon as January the 1st arrives, I can
Hmm.
start with the new year. So I do really enjoy this end of year period of maybe a week, 10 days where I can do things and reflect and have time to do
Hmm.
things I haven't done during the
Hmm.
year.
Hmm.
Augustine is from Mexico, and he
Mm.
says in
Oh.
Mexico, the celebration's different according to the country's region.
Oh, really? Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
that
which
is
region are
interesting.
you from, Augustine, and what are the traditions where you are?
Uh-huh.
Be interesting to
And
know.
uh-huh.
And
And
the
then we have
food, please.
and Maria is telling us about Colombia. In Colombia, we celebrate Christmas on the 24th of December. Yeah, they do here in Spain too on the 24th. We open the gifts at night. Ah, they don't do that here, do they? No, here
No.
in Spain, we open them on the Three Kings, which is on the 6th of January, isn't it?
Mhm.
The night of the 5th they come. And some people do open presents, but they usually, like in England, on the 25th. Spain, sometimes people are opening presents on the 25th, but not on the 24th. We open the gifts at night. The decoration is kind of similar to the American one. We have Christmas desserts like natilla and buñuelos. Well,
Very nice.
here in Spain, natilla and buñuelos are not Christmas desserts, are they? I don't think.
Do they have buñuelos at Christmas? Do you know? I honestly don't know.
I
My
don't
wife
think
is
they
Spanish,
do.
and
Uh-huh.
she doesn't have them. No,
No, no, no. I
no.
think buñuelos are very popular here around Easter time and also around Fallas time here in Valencia. People have a lot of buñuelos, I think. Uh-huh. Okay.
And Augustin's in the north of Mexico, so I wonder if that's
Okay.
in the Chihuahua region, in the desert near the border. Is that the area?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you traditionally eat there, Augustin? Because
Mm-hmm.
we'd like to know some things about food. What's your traditional Christmas dinner? When I was growing up in the UK, and perhaps similar for you, turkey was what
Mm-hmm.
everybody had on Christmas Day, the 25th of December. My mum cooked a very, very dry, I must say, turkey.
Oh, that's not nice. You don't
Now,
remember those things, Craig.
it's true. And everybody said the same thing.
That
The
it was
potatoes,
dry.
the roast potatoes, the vegetables, and all the, we say, trimmings, all the
Uh-huh.
extras that go around the
Uh-huh.
turkey, absolutely lovely. My mum made her own stuffing, which are
Uh-huh.
herbs and spices that go inside the turkey. But after the meal, we said, "Well, how was the turkey?" My mum said, "How was the turkey?" Everyone said, "Yeah, it was." Well, it was a little bit dry this year. Every year was the same.
Every year
So
was the same. Uh-huh.
so somebody would say, like my sister would say, maybe next year we can have something different, like beef or chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
everyone said, no, 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 it's tradition. We must have turkey. But it was
I
always
think
dry.
I think turkey is a dry meat. Actually, it's a very dry meat. I've only had I have to say, when my mother made turkey, it was the same. It was dry.
Yeah.
But once some Americans made a turkey for me on Thanksgiving, because that's the traditional meal for Thanksgiving in November, isn't
Yes.
it? Thanksgiving. And I have to say, it was the best turkey I had ever eaten because it wasn't dry at all. But you know what they did?
They put a lemon
About,
inside. Is
no,
that the
they had
secret?
a pound of butter,
A
a
pound of
pound of
butter.
butter. So 2 blocks of butter melted, and they had it in the tray where the turkey was, and of course the butter was melted, and they had this big pipette, and then every 30 minutes they sucked up the butter and they put it all over the turkey, and they put it inside the turkey and squirted it inside the turkey. So in the end, the turkey was full of butter and
Yeah.
it tasted delicious. That was the
Wow.
nicest turkey I ever had.
Well,
But I
that's a
don't
good
think I
tip.
could cope with that. No, I don't eat turkey.
I
We
don't
eat
think.
now in Spain, we eat lamb usually on Christmas
Mhm.
Day. Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think the cholesterol could cope with all that butter either. That's a lot of butter.
No, that is indeed. Maria in Colombia says they usually eat pork. Uh huh. Some
Mhm.
people cook the whole pork and put it on the table. My family usually eat ham with pineapple or plum sauce. Turkey's not that popular.
Mm.
Do you know, in my family, Maria, now live in New Zealand, and pork is very popular also in New Zealand. Well, rather than pork, a ham. I don't know what the difference is between pork and ham, but it's like a real ham. It's a piece of ham. It's not roast pork, so it's pink.
Mhm.
And they often put it on the barbecue, and it's really nice with pineapple and plum. That sounds nice. I think I'll come to Colombia next year.
That
That
sounds
sounds lovely.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Mexico, they eat turkey. I did not know that. I did not know
Mm.
that turkey was the traditional Christmas dish or
In
meal
Mexico, no,
in
I didn't
Mexico.
know that either. And
Interesting.
Caroline, hi Caroline. Caroline's saying hello to us from Germany
Hi,
today.
Caroline.
Hi
What's the
Caroline.
traditional food at Christmas time in Germany,
In
Caroline?
Germany.
Please tell us.
Well, I lived in Germany for 13 years and
Oh,
I
maybe
used
you
to
know.
eat. Well, I don't know whether it was really traditional what we had, but we used to have either goose
Mhm.
or we used to have carp, which is a fish, which was
On Christmas
carp
Day.
on Christmas Day. Fish or carp or goose. But yeah, I don't know. Caroline will know
Caroline will
better,
tell
I
us what
suppose. Yeah.
what's the tradition in
Uh-huh.
Caroline's family. Carp
Hmm.
surprises me because when I think of Christmas, in especially in countries in Europe like Germany and the UK, it tends to be very, very cold. And fish
Yeah.
I associate more with as a summer food than a
Mhm,
winter
mhm,
on a cold
mhm,
day, because a roast dinner with roast potatoes in the oven and meat and
mhm,
turkey or pork seems to me more appropriate for Christmas.
mhm,
Interesting.
mhm.
And what's your
Okay.
favorite Christmas food apart from what you traditionally cook? Do you
Oh,
have any sweets that you like, for
oh
example,
no.
mince
The thing
pies
I
or
no, well, I love the thing is at Christmas because I celebrate all three. Well, six because we always celebrate the eves as well. We have Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day,
and Boxing Day with turkey
Reyes Eve. Well, we
sandwiches.
don't celebrate Boxing Day here in Spain, but Reyes Eve and Reyes Day, we're eating all the time. And the things that I love about Spain are all the Ibericos. So the Ibericos, for
Mm.
people who are not from here, it's all the Iberian meat products. So sometimes at Christmas, it's the only time that we actually buy a leg of ham and we carve it, and I can eat. I can eat ham on ham like that, the cured pork. I can eat that until the
That's
cows come
amazing.
home. We say
Until the pigs come home.
until the cow and the pigs come
Limp
home.
limp home.
And the other thing I love, I'm a fanatic about cheese. And
Yeah.
at Christmas here, well, everywhere in England, in Germany, in Spain, for Christmas, they always bring out in the shops really lovely specialist cheeses. So I have, you can say in English, I have a field day buying cheese. Can you explain field day to everybody what that means?
I'm not sure what field day is.
It means you have a special day with lots of prizes and everything, and you treat yourself a lot.
Games,
That's a
when you play
field day.
games.
Play games, yeah. And when you
Mhm.
say I have a field day with that, it means I buy a lot and I eat a lot and I enjoy it a lot. I have a wonderful day with all
Let
of
me
that.
write that in the chat. To have a field
Hmm.
day, to have a
Have a field day. Hmm.
wonderfully good day.
Uh-huh. Okay. I'm also seeing in the chat, Caroline says, to be honest, she doesn't know what they eat in the Rhineland. Yeah, that's where I used to live, Caroline. Many people eat on the 24th sausages with potato salad. That's true. On Christmas Eve, I forgot about that you just have a very simple meal and you give your presents as well on Christmas Eve, like in Mexico, wasn't it? They said Christmas Eve. It
Was
was
it
from
Mexico or
Mexico
Colombia?
or Colombia. I think it was
Let me check.
Colombia, he said.
Colombia.
It
Yeah,
was
24th, Colombia.
24th. So that's like in Germany, they give presents on the 24th. But also on the 25th or the 26th is goose. Yes, that's what I remember, Caroline. Yeah. And Aurora Aurora, I think I know you. Hi, Aurora. I know Aurora. And Aurora says in Catalonia, that's in the northeast of Spain, above Valencia, Catalonia. They eat
Canelones.
canelones. Oh, on Christmas dinner. Wow. That's pasta, isn't it? Canelones?
It's Italian pasta.
It's Italian pasta. Wow, I didn't know that you
Interesting.
have pasta. My daughter would love that because she loves pasta. She wants pasta every day, so she would be delighted if I gave pasta on Christmas Day.
So, Marga, where are you from? Marga said, in Catalonia as well. We make thyme. It's an old branch that shit gifts to kids. I think that's a spelling mistake. Not that you
Here
give
in
really bad
Catalonia, we make the
gifts to kids.
time. It is an old branch that shit gives to kids.
I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure
What
what
you
that
mean,
is,
Marga?
Marga.
Uh-huh.
Can you clarify that? I don't think you give really bad presents to kids. That can't be the meaning of that message. So
No,
please
no.
clarify what you mean there.
Okay.
And then Marga says, Eve's
On
Christmas.
Christmas
But you
Eve.
need to change the order. It's Christmas Eve. So the 24th of December is Christmas Eve. The
Mm-hmm.
25th is Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
And we say Boxing Day for the 26th, which is the
6th.
day after Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Marga says they eat
Hey,
escudella.
yeah.
I
And
don't
I
know
don't
what
know
that
what that
is.
is, Marga.
What's
Maybe
that,
you can tell
Marga?
us what escudella is.
Oh, it's a
Oh, it's a
typical
soup.
soup.
It's a soup. She says it's a soup.
Yes, a soup, not a
A
soap.
soup.
A soap is what you wash yourself with. I'm
Uh-huh.
sure it tastes much nicer than soap. It's a
Uh-huh.
soup, SOUP, a soup.
SOUP.
Yeah.
That's right. And Rosario says that she has bought, well, I think she says, I buy a lot of different cheeses for this party. I don't know which party you mean, Rosario. Do you mean the one you're having now? I would love that if I could eat cheese right now.
Me
Or are
too.
you probably you're referring to for the Christmas celebrations? Yeah, I love the cheeses, and
Don't
I
forget,
have a lot.
Rosario, that we don't put the S on the adjectives in English. You do in Spanish,
Hmm.
but in English you just say different cheeses. So even
Cheeses.
though the noun is plural, the adjective never has a
Mhm.
plural form.
That's right.
Um,
Great.
yes,
Shall we move on?
Marga's
Oh.
corrected. It is soup and not soap. I'm relieved. I'm
Soup.
pleased to hear that. And Aurora says it's pasta with meat. Oh yeah,
That's the
cannellonis.
cannellonis,
Yeah,
but cannellonis is pasta with meat, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
they're like rolls, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Very nice.
Very nice. Oh, it makes me
Um,
hungry now. I
I'm
want to
getting
have.
hungry. Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's move on to gifts because we exchange presents. Some of you have
Hmm.
already said you exchange your presents on Christmas Eve. We used to exchange them in the morning. And I know some people exchange Christmas presents on the 25th, but after lunch. Ours
Hmm.
were always in the morning. We'd go downstairs and open our presents together as a family. What do you do in your
Well,
house?
it depended on where I lived. When I was in England, it was like you. It was the 25th in the
In the
morning.
morning. Mm.
When I lived in Germany, it was on Christmas Eve. And it was strange because on Christmas Eve, it was about 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, like on the afternoon. It wasn't
Yeah.
actually in the evening, it was like early evening. And now that I've been living in Spain now for over 20 years, here we in my family now, we only exchange gifts on the morning of the 6th, so the morning after the three kings come. Mm.
Yeah, which is kind of nice in a way because you're waiting
Mm.
and waiting and waiting, and you don't. If you open them on the 24th, then the 25th is a bit of an anticlimax. There are no
Yeah.
presents, and then
Uh-huh.
the Three Kings also you don't get your presents. So yeah, maybe it's better to wait for the
Well,
Three
the thing
Kings.
is, the thing that I like about Christmas here, because I like celebrating, but the thing is, I think when you have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, it's very much about the extended family eating together.
Yeah,
And everybody is we're quite excited to see each other because we haven't seen each other for lots of months. I mean, some of my brother and sister-in-laws I haven't seen for a whole year. So it's a lovely, like that. The Christmas is just the time for the family to meet up with old friends and see and exchange things. And then New Year is more about celebrating the end of the year and looking forward to the new year with friends and family. And then the Three Kings is about presents. So I
yeah.
like it because it's all separated, it's
And
not
as
all
you said
together.
before, it goes on for a long time, so it's an
Mm.
exciting period.
Hmm.
Are you hoping for any particular present this year? What have you asked
Well,
Santa Claus
what
for?
have I asked? Well, Santa Claus for? Well, here in Spain, I asked the Three Kings. They help Santa Claus out here in Spain. Um, I think I've put on mine a handbag. I need a new handbag, I think, and yeah, we'll see. I
Okay, interesting.
surprises.
And what about you watching in different countries? What are you hoping for this year? Have you
Mm,
asked for anything special this year?
mhm.
Any special gifts you're waiting for?
What's the worst present you've ever received, Craig?
Or probably something really boring like socks or when I was
Oh, uh-huh.
when I was in the UK, I used to work in an office and I used to wear a suit and a tie, a shirt and tie. So maybe my grandmother would buy me a tie, which is a pretty boring present when you're 21, 22 years old.
Mm.
So probably something like that. A pair of socks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
What about
remember
you?
my dad always used to get handkerchiefs. Every year, my poor dad used to get a box of handkerchiefs. They
Well,
were cloth ones.
Yeah.
handkerchiefs and socks. That's what he got every year, my dad.
So he always had a clean nose. That's good.
He always had a clean nose and clean feet.
And clean feet. Of course, music is important at this time of year. Do you sing in a choir?
Me.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I did. And I have to say, when I lived in Britain, Christmas carols were very important to me. They still are, but in Spain, nobody really has a. I mean, they have Christmas carols in Spain, but you don't. In Britain, it was a much more common thing. People went. I mean, when I was a child, I used to go to church, and in church there was a lot of practicing, and in school too. There was lots of practicing of singing Christmas carols, and if you were in choirs, you had lots of events in December singing, and I loved that. I have to say, I really like it. And but here, of course, I haven't, and in Germany either. Although the tradition is quite strong in Germany too, but I never
Mhm.
participated. But I have to say, if I had the chance, I would join a choir because I do like singing, and I like singing in a choir because I can't sing on my own. But singing in a choir, you can sing softly and nobody notices that you're out of tune.
I have a very good friend here in Valencia
Mhm.
who's English, and she sings in a choir. So if you're
Oh, does
interested,
she? Uh-huh.
I'll speak to you when we finish, and I'll give you her
Oh,
number because she'd be
oh
very happy if
yes.
you joined her choir.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Be careful of the pronunciation of that word, choir. It's very tricky. It looks like it's choir or something, but
Oh,
the
choya. Uh-huh.
pronunciation is choir. It's the k sound. Choir, choir.
Uh-huh.
And carols, we haven't explained, they are the songs that are traditionally sung at Christmas time. And they're usually religious, aren't they? Carols, Christmas
Yes,
carols.
Christmas carols are usually religious. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
true. Like Christian religious. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Do you?
And we've got some lovely comments here. Gustavo, can you share that one? Gustavo says, in Mexico, we have a beautiful tradition called or named Posadas, 9 nights, nights, HTS, Gustavo, from 16th to the 24th of December. It's a party in which you break a ceramic vase every night. You break a vase every night?
That must
Wow.
be an incredible party if you're breaking pottery and breaking
Every
vases
night.
in your house. That must be a wild, wild party,
Yeah.
Gustavo. Lots of mezcales and
Mhm.
cervezas there in Mexico.
Mhm.
What does Marga say? It's a tío, a tío. It's an old piece of wood. Children kick on it, and it's shit gifts
Gifts like
like bronze
Torrones
chocolates.
chocolates and other kinds of
When you
gifts.
when you say the word shit, Marga, does it mean that the gifts fall out of the bottom of the wooden chicken? Maybe?
Uh-huh.
If
Yeah.
that's what you mean, it's not really a polite word to use in that context. I would say something like it throws gifts out of its
Uh-huh.
bottom or throws
Or you
gifts
could
out
say
of it.
excretes, couldn't you? That's a very
A
formal
bit
word,
formal word.
excretes.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it is true, Margot, when you use the word shit there in that sentence, it's a bit strong. It's a bit too strong for the rest of the things that you're saying. So it's best not to use that like that,
yeah.
I think.
It
I think.
throws it the chicken throws gifts out of
Uh-huh.
its
Uh-huh.
bottom or
Yeah.
bum, you could say.
Yeah.
And, adorned with colored paper. Oh, this is the
This is the
posadas,
posadas, the ceramic vase, and it has
7
7
peaks.
peaks that represent the 7 deadly sins.
Oh,
Then
wow.
people hit the piñata, that's the ceramic vase, I think, with the things to end the evil, and they receive sweets and fruit as a reward. How nice. That's
I've seen that on
uh-huh.
the TV, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
I've
the
seen
children
it's
hitting the piñatas.
yeah, well, here in Spain, I have seen people hang a piñata at children's birthday parties, and the kids hit it, and then it breaks, and then the sweets fall out.
Sweets fall down,
But I
yeah.
didn't know that it was something related to Christmas or the 7 deadly sins, for example. That's new for me.
Interesting.
Hmm.
And it sounds very similar to Marga's, wooden chicken that
Yeah, it
also has
does.
sweets coming out of its bum.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it does. So you're
Uh, y-
hitting something that gives you
Parties every
sweets.
night. Parties every night,
Wow, every
Gustavo.
night. Uh-huh.
Hi, Gemma. Don't worry. We're talking about Christmas traditions today. So let
Yeah.
us know what you do around Christmas time, Gemma, and what your traditions are. Do
Uh-huh.
you have a favorite Christmas song? I don't like Christmas songs very much, but I do
Mm.
have a favorite. What's yours, Lynn?
I haven't really got. I couldn't think of what my favorite was. I have one or two that I hate, and I have one or two that I quite like. I think the problem with Christmas songs is that they're played too often, so you get a bit tired of them, don't you? What's your
Yeah.
favorite Christmas song, Craig?
I'm putting it in the chat as I speak. It's
Ah, the
by the
Fairy Tale of New
Pogues, the
York.
Fairy
Yeah.
Tale of New York.
Uh-huh.
Even although that is overplayed, it's
It
played too
is. Uh-huh.
often, but I don't get tired of it. I think it's a very good song, and I like
You
the
like
Pogues,
it.
so
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's my
Mhm.
favorite song.
I think I like the Live Aid song. Can you remember the one that was the Live Aid one from the 80s? Do
Yeah,
they know it's
do they
Christmas
know it's
time at all?
Christmas?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I do like that. It's called Feed the World, isn't it? Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I always end up liking that one. Which one do you hate, Craig?
All the rest no, that's not
Uh-huh.
true. There's a very good Christmas song by Chris Rea, "Driving Home for
Oh,
Christmas."
I know that one. Uh-huh.
That's a
Yeah.
nice song. I don't get tired of
Uh-huh.
that, but because they're played over and over again in department
Uh-huh.
stores and shops and on the radio and on the internet, I do get sick,
Mm.
or I could say fed up. I get fed up, which means I get bored
Yeah,
and
yeah, or tired. Uh-huh.
annoyed, tired
Mm.
of the same music. What
Yeah.
about cinema? Do you have a favorite Christmas film?
Well, we kind of have a little tradition in our house. We love the
Aha.
sound of music. So, and when I was a child, The Sound of Music was a very popular film that they used to put on the television at Christmas. But I mean, I'm talking, yeah, 40 years ago or more. And I kind of, my children love the Sound of Music, and it's a very long film, but we have it on DVD, and we do often at Christmas when we have finished eating and we just want to relax, then we sometimes put the Sound of Music on and we watch that and sing along. But
And
it's
you
nothing
don't
to do with Christmas. It's nothing to do with Christmas. It's
but
just
you
that.
don't get bored with it every year, the same film?
Oh no, you can't get bored with that. No, 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 it's nice. And if I had to think of a Christmassy themed film, I suppose it's Love Actually. That's a very popular film. Do you know the Love Actually film?
Yes, I've seen it a couple of times, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And there is a part of that that happens at Christmas, I think. Isn't there? Yes, I think so. Uh-huh.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's based around there's a Christmas pantomime, a Christmas show. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
Christmassy.
Yeah, that's it.
Gemma
Love
knows it.
Actually. You know
And in
it too.
Spain, Rosario says you sing villancicos, which are
Ah,
Christmas
the Christmas
carols.
carols.
They
Uh-huh.
are
Mm-hmm.
Christmas carols, exactly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Another question, Christmas jokes. Do you know any Christmas jokes? Now, I know you have one or two prepared. You told me before
I
we
have
went
to,
live. So
because the thing
let's hear
is,
them.
everybody, you see, Craig can tell jokes, but I'm not very good at telling jokes. And I can never remember them. I like jokes, but I'm never good at remembering them. So when he put that, and when we were preparing this, and he said, "We're going to tell a Christmas joke." In Britain, in England especially, Christmas jokes are very common, because I don't know if most of you know what a Christmas cracker is. We should have got one, shouldn't we, to show them what it is.
Yeah.
It's a kind of toy that two people pull, and it explodes a little bit. It's kind of like a
Okay.
handheld piñata or chicken or Tio or whatever. And out of this thing, you usually get a little present, you get a party hat, and you get a Christmas joke. And these Christmas jokes are really corny. Can you put corny in the chat?
Yeah.
So corny, Corny, That is a word for a joke that is not very sophisticated. Usually when you tell the joke, everybody goes, "Oh." Don't they? They like laugh, but they go, "Oh."
Oh no, yeah.
And so Christmas jokes are very popular in England because they come on these Christmas crackers. So I prepared two, right,
Okay.
for my corny Christmas jokes, but I warn you, I cannot tell jokes. So the first one is, I have to look because I wrote it down. Hang on, where is it? Yeah, right. Why was the snowman looking through the carrots? Why
Looking
was
through
through the
the
carrots?
carrots.
Why was the snowman looking through the carrots?
Zanorias. I don't know, Lynn. Why was the snowman looking through the carrots?
He was picking his nose.
Oh, that is corny. To pick your nose is to do this,
Is to
which is
do this.
disgusting. But of course, in the snowman has the carrot on his nose.
And to pick can mean this if you do this, but it can also mean to choose. So when we say, why was the snowman looking through the carrots? He was choosing his nose, but it's a play on words, and you say he was picking his nose because his
That's
nose is a
not
carrot.
that's not too bad. I've got a
That's not
very
too bad. Go on.
corny one that I'm posting in the chat at the moment. What goes oh oh oh, Lynn?
Oh, oh, oh.
Hmm.
I don't know. What goes oh, oh, oh?
Santa walking backwards, because Santa Claus traditionally says, "Ho, ho, ho, I have some presents for you, children. Ho, ho, ho," as he's laughing. But if he's going, "Oh, oh, oh," he's walking backwards.
It's
Now,
going-
when you explain a joke, even a bad joke, it's even worse. So I apologize.
Right, I've got another one. I have one more, right? I have one more. Some people are getting these jokes right. Here's another one. What now, do you know what an elf is, first of all? An elf is the that sort of fairy character who helps Santa with the presents. You know, he has very big ears and he is a small with a big hat. That's an elf, right? And he helps Santa pack the presents and things. So, what is every elf's favorite type of music?
Every elf's favorite type of music. I don't know.
Rap, of course.
We need to explain that.
Oh, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because rap music, RAP, is like Eminem, and it's music that came from the ghetto and streets of LA and New York.
Uh-huh.
And rap with a W, the verb to rap, WRAIP, is when you take paper, colored paper, and you put it around a present. So you wrap or wrap up, the phrasal verb, your Christmas presents or your birthday presents. So the elves wrap up Santa's presents. So it's a play
Yeah.
on
Did you
words,
like
isn't
that
it?
one? Did you like that one or
I
not?
did, yeah, I did.
You preferred the first one.
I like plays. I did prefer the first one because it's sticking your nose, how it's a bit disgusting it's better for children.
So come on
Here's
then.
one
What's your
that's
last one? Go on.
I've got two more. What
Oh.
do snowmen wear on their heads? Ice caps.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, one more.
One more.
One more. Do you know the airline Ryanair?
Yes.
What is the difference between Ryanair and Santa?
I don't know.
I will tell you. Santa flies at least once a year. No?
That was bad.
Ryanair? What was that? Yeah, that was bad. Okay.
Yeah, because
I think I think we'll stop there. But speaking of your elves, because
Yeah.
elves help Santa, don't they? They are
They do.
Santa's little helpers. So speaking about work and jobs, which job would you least like to do at Christmas time, thinking of what happens around this time of year?
Mhm.
What
I
job
have
would
that.
you
I have
least
that
like
answer
to
very
do?
clear. I know exactly what I would least like to do at Christmas time, and that is work in a shop when the shops are still open after 12 o'clock at lunchtime. Yeah, I feel so sorry for anybody who has to work in a supermarket or in El Corte Inglés or in a department store or in any kind of shop after lunchtime on Christmas Eve. I think it's so unfair, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's supermarkets near us that are closing at 9 o'clock on Christmas Eve evening. And I think that is awful because if they want to celebrate Christmas Eve, those poor people have to first get home and then they might, if they have families, they have to prepare a meal or something. And it's really, I don't know, it's not nice, you know, I
I don't
think.
know. We have Spanish people watching. Maybe you can tell us,
Mm,
but I don't know if it's a similar situation or arrangement as it is in the UK, where if you work on public holidays or you work extra time over your time, then you get paid what's called time and a half. So if you're
mm-hmm,
getting paid, let's say 20 euros an hour, then time and a half will be 30 euros an hour. And if you work on New Year's Day in a restaurant, you might get double time, which is 40 euros an hour. So
mm,
you get a reward, you get more money
mm-hmm,
if you're working on these unsociable hours. Do you
mm-hmm.
know, Lynn, if that's the same here in Spain?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, the thing is, Maria has said that she thinks the worst job would be to work in a restaurant. But you see, I think, I mean, I agree. It could be nasty if you didn't want to work in the restaurant. But I think it's worse for the people in the shops because it's true that some people go out to eat on Christmas Eve. But if you work in a restaurant, then you know that you cannot celebrate Christmas at all. Yeah, because you're working.
Mhm.
But I feel really sorry for the people who get home at such an hour that they try to celebrate, but it's really stressful. You know, I mean, I'm sure that in a restaurant, you probably don't even try to celebrate it when you go home because the restaurants close at midnight or 1 o'clock. They're not going to go home and then eat a meal, are they? Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
it is true. And Maria says they pay extra, but not that much. Yeah, I can imagine. I
Yeah.
can imagine that. But I
I
just don't see why it's necessary. I can see that it might be necessary for some people to eat in restaurants. Yeah. But it's not necessary to be buying food in a supermarket at 9 o'clock before Christmas Eve, is it? You know? I
yeah,
mean, you
no,
can do it on Thursday, can't you? We all have fridges and everything now, I
yeah,
think.
I can see that. I also think a job that I would not like to do, doctors, nurses,
Oh,
ambulance
yeah, of
drivers
course.
that
Uh-huh.
that are working on call. If you work on call, that means if there's an emergency,
Mhm.
if you're working for the police, for example, or road
Mm.
rescue,
Mhm.
on Christmas Day, on New Year's Day, you're with your family and there's an emergency, you have to go
Mhm.
and work because lives are at stake. It's people's
Mhm.
lives that are in danger. So you can't really relax because maybe they phone you, maybe they don't phone you, maybe you
Mhm.
have to work. You can't just relax, put your feet up and say, I'm not working for the next 2 days.
No, that's true. And they can't have a drink. They kind of like they're half celebrating, aren't they? Uh-huh.
Exactly.
I feel terrible. I completely forgot about the hospitals, the doctors, the nurses, and the police, and the fire brigade, and all those people who do have to work. Yeah, it's tough. Hmm.
Anyway, we have about 10 minutes. So let's look at the final part of these Christmas customs. We've already spoken about the chicken, the wooden chicken that has gifts and sweets inside, and in Mexico, the piñata that you hit at this time of year, the vase that also has sweets inside. But let's look at some strange and unusual customs around the world in different countries at this time of year. And my first question is, what do the Japanese traditionally eat on December the 25th?
The Japanese, but do the Japanese celebrate Christmas?
Well, it's a Buddhist country,
Ah,
but there are Christmas traditions, and this particular tradition is quite
uh-huh.
recent, and it has evolved out of commercialism, the commercialism of Christmas. So
Ah,
Christmas
okay.
advertising. So this is something that has come out of the commercialization. So does anybody know what the Japanese traditionally eat for their Christmas meal?
Not me. I don't know.
I'll put it in the chat. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken from the
Ken-
takeaway,
Kentucky,
from the fast food. And
yep,
wow,
Kentucky
that's
Fried
becoming a
Chicken.
tradition.
There
Uh-huh.
was a really, really successful advertising campaign in the 1980s,
Uh-huh.
and it's stuck with the population. And it's very traditional to go and buy a big bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and chips and take it home, and the whole family eats it. Isn't that
Wow.
strange?
That is strange. Uh-huh. But I didn't, as I said, it's probably because traditionally, they don't celebrate Christmas because Japan's not a majority Christian country, is it? So
No,
obviously,
no.
Christmas is more for former Christian countries and Christian countries today. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
I did have a
Do you-
picture here, but I don't know if I'll be able to show it to you. Can I share my screen? Let me try.
KFC.
KFC.
So I suppose we should be feeling sorry for all the poor people who work in KFC in Japan on Christmas Day, who have to sell all of this KFC for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Father Christmas. Can
Wow.
you see that?
Yeah.
KFC with a Father
In
Christmas
Japan.
outside, and I think that's in Tokyo.
Wow.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Um, do you have any,
Any other
or
ones?
I've got another one.
I the
Yeah.
only one. I mean, there's a one that I didn't know when I came to Spain, and it's that. But it's a tradition for New Year, and on New Year's Eve in Spain, it's quite common to do a fun run,
Mhm.
which is when you run a very short distance. And my husband is a runner; he's a marathon runner, but I'm not a runner at all. But I do try to participate in the fun run on the New Year's Eve, about 6 o'clock, and it's usually in the town where my husband's from, and in Cáceres, and everybody. It seems like the whole town comes out and
How
does
far?
this.
How far is it?
I
How far
think
do you
it's
run?
about 3 or 4 kilometers, maybe three. Three. It's not very far, but I think that that's quite a common tradition in many towns in Spain, that they have this popular fun run, where everybody goes and runs. Mhm. So I'll be trying to do that. And because I never run, usually when I go for Christmas to Cáceres on Friday, then I have to practice and train for the week, because normally I can't run to save my life. So I have to get into training so I don't completely make a fool of myself.
But that's a very healthy. That's a very healthy thing to do.
Not when you do it once a year, it isn't.
This is a tradition from Venezuela. In Caracas, they go to church on roller skates.
On roller skates.
Yep, that's the
Wow.
tradition in Venezuela. Is anybody watching from Venezuela? I'd be interested to know if it's only in Caracas or if it's also in other parts of the country.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's a tradition on Christmas Day to go to church on with
Hmm.
roller skates.
Rosario's asking, am I talking about the San Silvestre? And I am. Yes, I am.
Hmm.
And we would call that, I don't know where, San Silvestre is a saint, I suppose, is it? New Year's saint, when they say
Yes,
San.
sun is a
But
saint.
what we would say in English is a fun run, because it kind of rhymes. Fun and then run, a fun run. Hmm.
Okay. There's a tradition in Italy, and I don't have a picture for this, but La Befana is a wine drinking witch, and witch with a hat that creates potions. And In Italy, families across the country leave out a glass of wine for this witch and a plate
Oh,
of sausages for
uh-huh.
La Befana, who comes down
Oh,
the chimney on her broomstick. And the broomstick is what the witches use to fly around the sky. So La
wow.
Befana
So
is in
that's
Italian.
so that's a moment when I want to be a witch. Imagine I can go around Italian
Drinking
streets and
wine
have
and
lots
eating
of free wine.
and sausages. Yeah, sounds
That would
good.
be the one day in the year where I will accept if somebody calls me a witch. Uh-huh.
I've
Mm-hmm.
got one more unusual, strange custom from Sweden, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the Yule goat. Yule, Yule. Is that another name for Christmas? The
Christmas
Yule
it is.
tide?
I think so. Yuletide is a very old-fashioned word for Christmas or the
Hmm.
Christmas period. I don't think it refers to Christmas Day. I think it refers to the Christmas period. Hmm. I
So the
think I
Yule.
know this tradition in Sweden. I
Oh,
think I
okay.
saw
Tell
this.
us.
Well, I don't know. I think I saw it on the news last year. But you explain. You explain.
Well, it's a goat, a huge goat that's been the symbol in Sweden for many, many years, going back to the ancient pagan festivals. However, in 1966, when England won the World Cup,
Hmm.
congratulations, Argentina, by the
Yeah.
way.
Congratulations, Argentina. If anybody's here
In,
watching.
in 1966, the tradition got a whole new life after someone came up with the idea or thought of the idea to make a giant straw goat, which is referred to as the gavel goat. It's more
Uh-huh.
than 42 feet high, 23 feet wide, and weighs 3.6 tons.
And then they
And
set it on fire, don't they, at the
yes,
end?
and there it is,
There
the
it is.
Yule goat.
I saw that on the news last year, I think it was, and the year before, because some people had tried to set it on fire before the end of Christmas. I think. I
Really?
think I remember seeing it in a news report. Yeah. Uh-huh. But it looks amazing, doesn't it? Uh-huh.
Yeah, it
Looks very,
does.
very good. Uh-huh. Very
Absolutely.
nice. Uh-huh.
So there are some strange ones in Cadiz, where Rosario's from. They celebrate Zambomba,
Sambomba. Oh, you
dance,
dance, sing
sing
flamenco,
flamenco,
and
and drink.
drink.
At the same
Oh, I think
time,
I'll
do you
ha
not spill the drink when you're
I
dancing
can
and
do
singing?
that. I can do that.
Sounds like fun. Fantastic.
I think I will be going to Cadiz next year, Rosario. That sounds great.
Nice one.
Okay.
Um, have we got time for one more question?
Yeah, go on. Yeah. Why don't you do about the end, our closing questions? Was this year better or worse than last year for you? Can our listeners or viewers, can you tell us what was the happiest thing for you this year? Or do you have any regrets about this year? What about you? Because it's nice to end on a happy thing. Do you, well, or happy or a sad thing? Do you?
Hopefully happier.
Right. Well, first of all, Craig, was this year better or worse than last year? What do you think?
It was better,
Mm-hmm.
especially because it seems like in many countries, COVID is more or less behind us now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, 2021 was a very difficult year because of COVID.
Mm.
People were dying, getting sick. We couldn't travel. The economy was suffering very, very bad. For some people, it might not have improved this year, especially economically, but at least from a healthcare viewpoint, it has been better, generally speaking. And I think people are more optimistic than they
Mm-hmm.
were this time last year. For me
Mm-hmm.
personally, it's been a good year. I'm teaching online. I'm very happy with the conversation courses. I've met some lovely, lovely students in the groups I'm doing for fluency and conversation practice. So I'm very happy with what I'm doing at work, although I do miss classroom teaching. But on a
Mm-hmm.
personal level, yeah, even though I haven't really traveled that much this year, it has been a better year than the
Mm-hmm.
previous year. What about you?
Yeah, I don't like to reflect too much on evaluating my years. I just enjoy every year, really. I think. But it's been a good year. There's always, I think every year, even during COVID, there were some good moments too. But I do agree with you. It has been nice to be able to travel again and move around a little bit and get back to some kind of normality. I think after the year before was a little bit unusual, wasn't it? So it's quite nice. But I like most years, I think.
You're a very
Yeah,
optimistic person.
I'm a very optimistic person. So what was the best thing that happened to you this year? What was the happiest thing for you this year?
The best thing that happened to me this year. The best thing that happened to me this year. I think I finished the year healthy. I think that's the when you, when you get into your late 50s, when you're pushing 60,
Uh-huh.
I think it's nice to end the year without any major health problems, and to
Mhm.
feel quite happy about starting the new year relatively healthy.
Mhm.
So I think that's probably the best thing that's happened to me this year. I mean, work's been very nice to me this year. I'm
Mhm.
happy with the way things are going, and I haven't had any bad news from friends or family. So it's been a good year.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you, Lynn?
Well, I think I wrote down three things because I can't decide which was the nicest. But first thing was my sister came to visit me with her husband,
From
and
New
they
Zealand.
from New Zealand, and that was the first time that she'd visited me in my house for 30 years. So I was really happy that she came to visit me. So that was great. She came to Valencia. And then I had a lovely holiday this year in Portugal with a camper van with
Oh
my
yes,
husband, which was
yeah,
lovely, with a little VW camper van. And on that holiday, I tried to surf for the first time, and I stood up for 1.5 seconds, and I was really
fantastic,
happy
brilliant.
in the Atlantic. So that was really my highlights of the year.
And what are people saying who are watching? It will be better. Never give up. Absolutely,
No,
Paloma.
absolutely. And
100%.
we've got lots of first certificate graduates, yeah, because Aurora passed the B2 level.
Hmm.
Okay. And Caroline passed B2 as well. Well done.
Yep.
Congratulations for passing first.
Well done, Caroline. Yeah, I know you
Well
work very
done.
hard.
Uh-huh. That's lovely. And so yeah, and
Oh, that's a lovely thing to say. Thank you,
oh, thank you,
Paloma.
Paloma. Was she one of your students? She was saying that to you directly, not to me. Was she one of your students? Your
No,
direct
Paloma,
students?
I don't think we've studied together, have we? I don't
Ah, you've
think
just you've just seen us on the
you've
on the
seen us, yeah.
YouTube. Uh-huh.
I don't think
Okay.
she's an ex-student. Maria
Thank
Clara
you.
says this year was better.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, COVID is improving. And she went to London last month. Fantastic.
Ah, uh-huh.
Well done.
Great. Uh-huh. Great.
Okay,
Okay.
well, we'll end by wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Whether or not you celebrate this time of year and these festivals, we really do hope that you'll be happy and healthy next
Hmm.
year. And you have a
Mhm.
great year next time. And we'll be back next year, I hope, Lynn, won't we?
Yes, of course, of course. After my holidays, of course.
After your holiday. So when you come back from your
Mhm.
holiday, if
Yeah.
people want to get in touch with you for private lessons, how can they reach you?
Okay, so they can get in touch with me through my website, and my website is putitlikethis.com. So if anybody would like to start studying English with me next year, you can get in touch. And I will have finished my holidays, so I will have lots of time until the summer. But just don't get in touch now because I'm going on holiday until
Yeah.
after Christmas.
You won't get your emails answered until 2023.
No, well, I'll answer my emails, but I won't start teaching until January next year.
And if anybody watching would like to do a very informal but interesting conversation course to practice your fluency in your speaking, I am starting one the second week in January. So you are welcome to contact me now by email, and we can maybe speak before the end of the year because I'm not having a holiday. So I'm around, I'm here until the course starts on the 8th of January. So I put my email address in the chat. And if you are interested in studying with me and a lovely group of 8 students, then get in touch and I will give you more details. And also, don't forget to visit the website where you can study English for free, and that is mansioningles.com. And we also have a podcast at inglespodcast.com that's also free for you to improve your English.
So, can you hear? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Have a lovely Christmas and New Year, and we'll see you in 2023. Take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.